I'm a one in the hood, G.
Welcome back, loyal Let's Play fan. Many years ago, Sega once said, "Fuck you, we'll make our own damn Final Fantasy." And now, here we are. Can you tell that I'm on a new mic, by the way? I've been upgraded. So, a key difference between this game and Final Fantasy 1 is this one has cutscenes. Look at this. It's revolutionary. Kind of a silly thing to say in 2022, but at the time this was a big deal. There's our main character. It's a classic tale of you gotta avenge the death. And the other big set piece of this game, look at this, tunnels. Yeah. Alright, so 50 macetas from that treasure chest. And anybody who knows Phantasy Star 1 knows that I made a very smart move by coming here first. Because the first thing you want to do, before you do anything else in Phantasy Star 1, is you want to raise 75 macetas so that you can get the sword. And so, we've already taken a big step towards that. You're probably thinking, well, we only need 25 more. How hard could that possibly be? And well, you will see. Trust me when I say, you will see. None of these items are necessary, thankfully, but in this shop, however, this is where it's at. So these items are pretty self-explanatory, quite honestly. So now we're already $10 in the hole from where we started, but we will need that. I can assure you that.
You had better not leave the residential area.
Yes, and in Phantasy Star 1, everybody speaks in all caps because they're always angry at you, 'cause you're a woman. Anyway, there's the spaceport. We gotta go there later. There's the second town. That's where we're gonna buy the sword, once we have enough money. You see, the thing about these old school games is they're not designed to be beaten. They were designed by very angry Japanese programmers who hated white people, and so naturally they don't want you to succeed at anything, they just want you to be miserable. And as such, we're going to have to sort of cheat the system if we if we want to succeed at this. See, what we're going to do is we're going to be very selective about what tiles we go on at this stage because we don't have the sword. So as long as we don't go in the foresty tiles and we just stay on this one slim line you see me going on, that limits the number of enemies that can possibly spawn in to 2. And so if we only fight those green flies and the scorpions, we should be okay, at least until we level up. But we still have to account for the fact that occasionally there might be 2 scorpions, in which case we should probably flee. Because we can take on 1, but not 2. Gosh, this sure is complicated. Whatever happened to the good old days of Pokemon? Remember that clip from The Simpsons where Bill Cosby says Pokemon? Pokemon! Pokey and the man, and the guy comes out and he's all like, ah, glah, glah, glah. That's gotta be at least the 5th time that I've referenced that bit on this channel, but I don't think anybody's still watching the video at this point, so I can probably get away with it. So yes, the combat is very simple at this stage. Eventually we get more party members and magic and other fanciful things, but at this stage we're just in tard mode and we can't do anything too complex. So, in retrospect, I guess it was this game, Final Fantasy 1, Ultima, and I guess Dragon Quest 1, Dragon Warrior 1, were the founding fathers of RPGs. You know, out of all the, I guess, gaming genre fans out there, RPG fans are definitely some of the more cunty people out there. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? I mean, there's just that old stereotype that RPG people are nerds. I mean, if you guys are familiar with Yeek, a postmodern RPG, the insufferable main character even has a line about, "I'm more of an RPG guy." That's not what he sounds like. Why do all my voices just sound like Nicolas Cage? Okay, so this building's the equivalent to the Pokemon Center there, so we get some free healing at the cost of slowing down progress. Okay, so we are $9 in the hole versus where we were at the start of that dungeon. In between takes, I bought a shield.
Someone to tell me, do I need to buy a shield?
There's never a bad time for a Mr. Weeble reference. He's been entertaining artistic young men like me for generations. And that cola's gonna put us another $10 in the hole. 75 Mercedes is starting to look rather elusive at this point. But enough screwing around, let's go on an actual grind. Anybody who hasn't clicked off the video at this point is probably thinking, what exactly was that? And well, it's exactly what it looked like, as the king from the Burger King commercial, using a tape measurer and that triangle thingy to measure women's asses with the SpongeBob imagery in the background. What's so weird about that? Makes perfect sense to me. God, I missed the king from the Burger King commercials. That son of a bitch was hilarious. Some people thought he was scary, while other people thought he was funny. He was about 50-50, and I was definitely more on the funny sort of side of that. His commercials would just crack me up, as I saw him, he put $1 in that man's pocket, officer, and he's doing it again. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. But that's okay. So we just gotta keep wailing on these scorpions that keep swarming us. I feel like I'm gonna have a mouthful of scorpions like that scene from The Emperor's New Groove. Sorry, everybody. I'm so very sorry. But anyway, it might be a bit hard to tell when looking at this game through the eyes of modern man, but this was quite the impressive thing back in the day. Ask any of the old guard YouTube gaming channels and they'll tell you the same. You can ask My Life in Gaming or Happy Console Gamer and they'll tell you, oh yeah, Phantasy Star was the best.
Unless you hope to die, you had best stay here.
Alright, so you know what we gotta do now? More grinding, of course. As SpongeBob and Patrick say, well, back to the old grind. Eventually, when we get to fill out our party more, the second member that we add to the party is a cat. So maybe we'll get some Redditors to watch this. They like cats over at Reddit. Everybody's drooling over that new cat video game. You know, they'll just constantly shit on all the real video games for incredibly small flaws. But then when there's a video game where it's just, hey, stupid Reddit man, do you like cats? Suddenly they're just totally drooling all over it and, yes, I do like cats. All their hypercriticalness just melts away at the sight of a funny kitty cat. That's all that Reddit really cares about. And perhaps we shouldn't hold their opinions in such high regard. Who is this for? Who cares about these arguments? Okay, we finally got enough for the sword. It's about damn time. It took the whole freaking episode. But now we're ready. Let's hope we don't have to get physical and pepper spray him in the face like Chris Chan did to that guy at GameStop. Alright, so there you have it. So now next episode we can actually play the freaking game. With our fancy new sword. Just like Brian Urlacher.
I, Brian Urlacher, challenge thee to an honor duel.
A what?
An honor duel.